what's up? It's your boys, Onside Trio, and we're back again with another video. I'm here with my boys on my far left. I've got Mabunda in the middle. I've got Muremi, and it's me, Mia. So we are here today to just talk about a recap of everything that has been happening in the football community. We've been on a mini international break. A lot has happened before that. A lot has happened during that. So we're just gonna have a little bit of a recap, talking about some of the headlines that took place in the football community. So I don't know, gents, but I think I want to start with one of the biggest headlines that we didn't get to talk about at the time, but I just want us to have a little bit of a say on it. Thomas Tuchel getting sacked by Chelsea. I think everyone was shocked by that. We never saw it coming. He most certainly didn't see it coming. Mabunda, what do you think about that? Did they make the right decision?
I'm lost even now. I'm still surprised. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's the way Chelsea rolls. I'm confused. But wait, I was about. I nearly collapsed when I saw the news in the morning. But yeah, his performance past 3 games. I saw like, how can I put it? I felt like maybe he's getting too comfortable, and felt like for him and the team, maybe the team thought maybe he needs to open his socks, and maybe they felt like the time was limited. They need a new coach. Yeah, Muremi.
Yeah. Well, coming back from our own international break, I just felt like it was a bit abrupt, but at the same time, I feel like it's to a certain extent justified. I mean, Tuchel is a good coach, no doubt, but it seemed like he was out of ideas, more especially considering, looking at the last 4 or 5 games. What was he even trying to do? It's a bit abrupt, to be honest. I would have given him more time, but you also need to consider that there's new management in. Are they trying to do a total overhaul of everyone who was Abramovich's guy, whatever? But it seems like they're trying to, dispose of everyone who was sort of acquainted or whatever, had anything to do with Abramovich. Maybe they're trying to start over on whatever. But I don't see the new guy doing anything else. You need... Chelsea needs to change a lot of things. So, second Tuchel wasn't really the best option for them. According to me, I don't think it was. They could have given him a bit more time, but at the same time, I feel like he was lost. It's like he was overthinking everything. He lost himself somewhere in the process. I don't know how, but it just happened.
You know what I think? I think that Chelsea were too quick to rush into making the decision. Why? Because I feel like every coach has that rough patch where they just need to figure things out differently. Pep has to reinvent himself so many times. Every great coach actually goes through that period, and Chelsea was. They weren't so bad, to be honest. They weren't terrible. Like, they weren't the worst performing team. You understand? They had a couple of bad games, right? And I think that they could have just given him the time to figure it out, what he needs to change. And another thing about Tuchel is that he stayed at Chelsea. Remember, he found these players there. These are Frank Lampard's players, by the way. He didn't. The only player he only brought in, which is now left, was Lukaku. Even now, he didn't have much to do in the transfer window. He had to wait for some players to come back, like Konaganaga, and he made like a few transfers, Sterling, which I think was a good signing, and Kukurea, Koulibaly, But I feel like they didn't give him a fair chance to build his own team that can play his exact style of play. Even though we had a glimpse of what Chelsea could do and how they could play with the back 5 and a 3-4-3 kind of a system, but I just feel like it was too soon. They didn't give him enough of a chance. He's only had 1 full Premier League season, and given that he accepted to take Chelsea at the time of like where they were with Lampard, they were down in the gutters and pulled them all the way to the Champions League glory. I feel like it was disrespectful also on his behalf to be sacked the way he was. Now, it could have been in a more respectful manner, and I feel like they didn't even give him the grace.
I agree with you, but at the same time, it's not so easy to back a project that has no direction. In as much as I agree with you on the fact that they didn't give him much time, but it was really hard to see beyond all that darkness. It was very hard to see how that sort of, well, even if we would consider the fact that he could have gotten the team to play the way he wanted them to, but it was very hard to see, on the brighter side of things. He brought in players Now in the transfer window, some of these players came back, but it was very hard to see what Tuchel is trying to do. So it's very hard to bag a project that I cannot. It's very hard to see where it's going. It's unlike you look at the likes of Klopp and whoever else.
Yeah.
It's easier because you can see what this guy is trying to build. Now you have this guy who lost, forwards and all that. Now you bring in strikers. Who's scoring for your team? What is actually going to happen? Do you need another transfer window to balance things off? What is he trying to achieve? So for me, if I were in their shoes as well, I would have actually sat down with him and asked, what are you trying to achieve? We gave you the budget, you went and bought defenders. What is the end goal? What are you trying to achieve? It was very hard for me to see what he's trying to actually do.
Yeah.
But given the fact that the new management, so to speak, I feel like he was hard done by. I don't know what he did wrong because he was still revamping the team.
Yeah, that's it.
Now getting sacked. Like you can ask yourself even the very same question like you're asking on Amorim as a coach, what do you want me to do based on the time that you have given me?
Okay,
Let's not look at let's not look at it based on the management side. Like you must look at it on both sides. Let me tell you my experience towards Chelsea. I know Chelsea in terms of being patient with coaches. I know it's their nature. When you flop, they chase you.
They're not patient.
But
at
I
all.
thought maybe
the cheaper United of Europe.
yeah, since they have a new management, they were gonna maybe soften things up, give that coach a chance, and see what he wants to achieve.
But best case scenario, what could Tuchel have done with his squad? To be honest, can you even imagine a period where he could have actually dominated anything with that squad?
Yes.
No, I'm with Mia.
There was a point last season where we all thought Chelsea would win the Premier League.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the
Yeah.
current players. I'm not talking about those.
Even
I'm
now,
talking
Mr.
about
Murray,
the ones
like-
I know.
even sorry to interrupt. Even now, when I look at Chelsea and Tuchel, I don't think maybe Tuchel has done anything. As Mia said, it's not like they were that bad to sack their coach. I feel like they didn't give him enough chance.
That, I agree with that,
Yeah.
100%. Those are my exact sentiments.
All right.
And I don't think that the new coach from Brighton, I don't think he's gonna bring them any glory either. He's a brilliant coach, but I feel like he's giving me those David Moyes kind of vibes. He's a good coach for a small team.
Heal, my man.
And-
It ain't United.
No, we've seen it so many times.
Mr.
You bring-
It's not like maybe Mia is speaking something out of this world. Team managers have got this tendency of hiring coaches based on their performances on the teams that they are in. Brighton is a small team. We're looking at Chelsea now. You're hiring a coach from Brighton to Chelsea. It's not like he's gonna take that mentality of Brighton to Chelsea.
But I agree with you entirely, but I feel like at the same
what is
time,
Chelsea looking to gain also?
Exactly my point.
It's wrong to put it like that. Not everyone will start at a big team. But just because I coached a small team for 5 years doesn't necessarily mean that I'll bomb at a big one.
But
I could do well.
I've seen coaches blunder.
But not everyone.
I've seen a lot of coaches blunder.
But not everyone will go down
Chelsea's
that
a
route.
big club, man, and there's high expectations. If you can sack someone who just won a Champions
A
League,
Champions League.
someone who's never won much really,
What
what are his expectations? Like, what are we expecting from him at Chelsea?
Yeah.
But standards are
Tuchel-
different.
I was
Tuchel
gonna
is
give you
here.
enough chance when you lose
If we're
4
looking,
games.
if we're looking at CVs,
Look,
Tuchel's CV is
far,
here.
yeah.
This guy's CV is here.
Listen,
And you're sacking this guy for
let's
this guy.
Okay, let's go back to what United did.
Yeah.
The reason why United sort of gave Ole that much time is they were looking for a long-term project. What if that's the case with this new coach?
What long-term project are you talking about?
They might be looking at him to sort of get this squad to be a squad that can compete maybe 2 or 3 seasons. But maybe they weren't thinking about that with Tuchel. Tuchel is so established that when he comes into a team, we expect instant results. But that might not be the case with that guy. They might expect that guy to actually take them to those heights in, say, 2 seasons. They might be, in a position to give him much time. When you have Messi in a team, when Messi went to PSG, you expected him to perform like right there and then. It's unlike when some other player goes to PSG or whatever team.
Yeah, but
Expectations won't be the same, and that depends on your CV.
as I said, I know Chelsea. If that guy can lose
4, he's out.
games.
Eyes out. They don't have patience.
It's not like maybe I'm against what you're saying. I know
Chelsea don't. They couldn't be
If
patient with
you
Mourinho.
flop, you go.
I don't know. I get
And
you guys.
Mourinho was one of their best coaches. They couldn't
Coaches,
be-
yeah.
Look,
Carlo Ancelotti. The list is long.
Yeah.
You know what? Whatever energy drink you were on before you came here, like chill, gents, chill. I'm not fighting with anyone. I mean, what are you thinking about the whole Klopp situation at Liverpool? Do you think it's entirely based on injuries, or do you feel like he's sort of, losing his way? Have other coaches figured him out, or is just Liverpool going through a bad period? What do you have to say about that, Makondo?
I think okay, this could be a very popular opinion at this point. But I think Sadio Mane leaving did something. I feel like they underestimated his role that he played at the club. Not just on the pitch, off the pitch as well. He's the value he brought to the team, his mentality and everything, I think what we're seeing now is his absence being felt. Amongst other things, of course, like perhaps Klopp's style of play has become too generic for the Premier League. The Premier League evolves every year. Teams definitely adopt to how you play, and they start figuring you out, and they start figuring ways to play around you. So I think what we're seeing, especially like with them playing pressing football, a lot of the goals they've conceded come from when they are pressing, which is funny actually, because when they press, they press high up the field, right? So they press in the opposition's half. Then they lose the ball, and as soon as they lose the ball, they become lazy to track back, and that's literally summed up what their season has been. And most of that really is to blame on the defenders. Like, we don't know what's going on with Van Dijk and Trent this season, but they're not showing up the way we know them to be, especially Trent. When it comes to defending, he has been so sloppy. His attitude has just been, I don't know, he's been lazy to track back. Like, if you look at the goals that were conceded against United, Napoli, even the draw against Everton, you look at Trent's performance, you're like, okay, he's a brilliant player going forward, but he's still a defender though, and he leaves space, he doesn't cover the space, and he doesn't track back to fix his mistakes. So I think it's just a matter of, I don't think Liverpool are down and out. I think it's just a matter of fixing things here and there. And of course, I think they were majorly injured by the midfield players who couldn't play at the time, like Thiago, Naby Keita, Henderson. So the young boys, as good as they are, the young boys, their inexperience shows on the pitch. So Harvey Elliott, brilliant player, I love the guy, but he's not experienced enough. Especially he played for. He played in that game against United, and it showed that he doesn't have the experience here.
Look. Before you actually say something, I also wanna. I want you to, in your answer, to add to what he said. Do you think, the praises have actually finally gotten to Trent's head, or do you think he's just the same player we've always known? Do you think the praises have gotten him, his ego, to actually maybe get a bit inflated, or do you think he's still as humble as he used to be, maybe?
No. According to me, I'm gonna focus more on the injuries part of it. I feel like as a coach, you get used to your own starting 11. You know that when you start with these players, you're gonna achieve whatever you wanna achieve. So Klopp having experiencing so much injuries, I felt like it caused confusion based on whom to start, whom to replace with, and stuff like that. That's why Liverpool is all over. I feel like injuries costed him too much.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. I'll sort of touch a bit on both your answers. Sadio did leave a big void, to be honest. I don't think any of the players they had could entirely fill that void. But at the same time, I feel like injuries had a big role to play in this. Because when I saw them play with, say, 90% of their starters, they look fine, they look decent as well. And then they have defensive problems, because now when you look at how they've been pressing over the years, for me the most important player was Fabinho, because Fabinho could cover Van Dijk very well when Van Dijk is covering on Trent's side or Robertson's side, but Fabinho doesn't cover as much now, so it exposes Van Dijk a lot. He has players coming straight at him. His shield is sort of gone. That is a very, very big problem because they'll always play pressing football. It's who they are, it's how they play. When they are all in the pitch, that is exactly how they play. But they need someone in the center to actually shield the defense. Because when you look at Van Dijk's style of defending, it's not the conventional or typical style of defending. He doesn't go head on into tackles and all that. So he's a much more calculating defender. So when you have smart forwards, it becomes a problem for him. And he can't cover his wing backs as much if Fabinho is not sort of covering him, because what would happen back then is Fabinho would end up playing as sort of number 5 when they're being attacked, so that Van Dijk had the freedom to go on either side. So now it's a big problem and Fabinho is sort of looking a bit, I don't know, but something is wrong with him. That is the one player that I can mention, and Trent as well. Something is happening to him. I don't know if he feels too big, I don't know if he feels like someone is not doing his job, but his displays, I don't know, it seems like there's a bit more to do with attitude and how he plays right now than anything else. Honestly.
Yeah. You wanted to talk about the Liverpool versus Napoli game.
Yeah, most definitely. The Champions League has been crazy. It's been really, really crazy. I'd like to talk about the Liverpool versus Napoli game. Liverpool is really going through it, gents. It's really hard for them. They lost 4-1 against Napoli. I mean, historically they've struggled a lot against Napoli, but 4-1 is that one really hit home. I don't know what you guys think about it, but really for me it was really disappointing from Liverpool. What do you have to say about it, guys? Mabunda, can you start?
I feel like we are sparing the fact that Napoli are doing good.
Yeah.
They're very fit.
Yeah, that's a real valid point right there.
That's a valid point.
Yeah, on form. So it's not like Liverpool when they're not knowing what they're expecting. Yeah, Napoli played well. They found Liverpool lacking. It was a bonus. Then they took advantage of the opportunity. Then they played well. 4-1. It was a big score. Credit to them and unluck to Liverpool.
Yeah, I think you're right. A lot of people didn't anticipate Napoli to win by such a huge margin. Especially a lot of people think that Liverpool is like the best team in the world, right? They have a lot of opinions about them, but I think you're right. People actually are not giving Napoli enough credit. They're number 1 in Serie A at the moment.
Yeah.
They did show up, but I also think it is because Liverpool aren't at their best as well.
Yeah.
They're not playing at the level we know them to be playing at, and I think a lot of that has to do with just the atmosphere at the club at the moment, the players' attitudes, the injuries, and a lot of mistakes that they do, and when they're playing, they make a lot of mistakes, especially at the back. So I think Liverpool, honestly, they're not in the best position at the moment in terms of the squad and how they're playing at the moment. But yeah, without any doubt, Napoli definitely deserves some credit at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's good enough. I didn't think about that, maybe. but my thing is, Liverpool has lost so many times to Napoli that you would think that they would seek some sort of revenge. It's ridiculous, man. It's becoming the whole Bayern Barcelona thing now. Barcelona already knows they're gonna get chopped. You start to feel the same way about not
Zakala, that's right.
Yeah. But anyway, you started to feel that whenever Napoli is going against Liverpool, Napoli is going to come out on top. And this is Liverpool we're talking about.
Yeah.
Not so long ago they were the champions of Europe.
Yeah.
How the hell did they fall to this level? Napoli already knows how to deal with Liverpool every game.
Yeah.
Can Liverpool sort of, come up with some sort of strategy to deal with Napoli? Really, man, it's ridiculous. Napoli has lost some of their top players. They're doing good in the Serie A, but come on, man. This is Liverpool. This is Liverpool we're talking about.
I think we'll leave it to Liverpool to figure it out. They have a second leg coming up in the Champions League, so hopefully by then they would have fixed their mistakes. But for now, I think they just have to go back to the drawing board and fix a couple of things. Just to touch on Champions League still, Haaland, guys. Haaland has been amazing. What a performance he's putting on in the blue of Manchester. A lot of people are questioning how is he gonna fit? Is he gonna fit? Is he gonna score goals? Whatnot. He's been the most efficient player this season. Few touches, lots of goals. Beautiful, play. Like he's such a we're really looking at a generational player when we're looking at Haaland. Remy, I don't know. When you watch Haaland, what does it feel like to watch a player like him?
Man, he's magical. He's phenomenal. I don't even know how to. Words always fail me when coming to that guy.
Yeah.
He's like, he's so goal oriented. He has like one goal in his head. The goal is a goal. The goal is a goal. I mean, he's so efficient, like you said. I mean, minimal touches, lots of goals.
Yeah.
His strength, his awareness in the game. You look at how he runs, how he times his runs. He's always, I mean, looking at the last man. He's hardly ever offside. He understands. I mean, his combination with De Bruyne is out of this world, man. He carries players like, I mean, you look at some of the top defenders in the league, and I mean, he does things to them, and you're like, wait, what the hell? How the hell did we even rate these players this well? That guy is so good.
He's a
I love
beast.
this Haaland is, man. I mean, looking at that guy, he gives you. You have so many shadows of great players over the years who've played the game. But anyway, moving right along, I mean, PSG has been doing fairly well this season. There's positives to talk about. I mean, we have a few naive people thinking that they'll finally leave the Champions League. But anyway, what do you have to say about like PSG's performances right now?
Listen, PSG, the front three at the moment are on fire. Neymar's back to his best. I'm happy. I miss this Neymar. I think Messi coming to join PSG reignited something in Neymar to love football again, and he's playing wonderful, assisting. He's got great goals also. Playing very wonderfully at the moment, and without a doubt, I think we all can see that they could possibly pose a threat. I wouldn't go as far as saying they'll lift the trophy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But they're definitely a good team. They can pose a good threat this season. And of course, Mbappe, the star boy, who's been in the light for some time now. A lot of controversy around Mbappe, but I don't know, man. There's also a lot of controversy around him compared with Haaland. What do you think about the whole Haaland versus Mbappe situation there?
When I recall well, before we became famous, there was we dwelt in, and I think I'm not sure if it was Murim or me who asked, do you think Haaland is gonna fit on the on Pep's team? And I told him straight away, the reason why Pep bought Haaland, it's one. To score goals, and that's what Haaland is doing. So I won't say much.
But many can argue that Mbappe is also scoring goals.
Yeah.
So when comparing the two, what exactly are we comparing?
Yeah, it's a very hard.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very hard. But I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to the bottom line. Who would you basically pick if you had to pick one?
And remember, Mia. No, sorry to interrupt. Remember, Mbappe has been there. He knows Ligue 1, he knows France Ligue 1, he's been playing there for a long time.
Yes.
So we must give Haaland the credit just because he just
moved.
arrived. You need to adapt fast, you need to get used to the play of English Premier League and stuff. Yeah.
If I had to pick one, I'm picking Haaland. I think Mbappe is just a little in his head at the moment, and the side of him that I've seen, I don't think I'd want to coach a player like that. Who gets too big in his head. He's still young. He hasn't accomplished much, to be honest, for him to walk around with a heavy head. So,
but he has. I mean,
he's good, and I feel like him knowing that he's good, it gets in his head too much.
But at the same time, it's the team. The team did this to him. I mean, this last contract, man. What the hell kind of nonsense is that?
I feel like, he was spoiled.
That's nonsense. But I mean, at the same time, you need to look at the PSG front trio, and you need to give Messi credit as well.
Yeah.
The guy has really stepped up. I mean, you feel like he's now in his zone. I mean, his bromance with Neymar.
Yes.
I mean, they're at a point where, I mean, they're clicking. Things are starting to flow. They do have a few flaws as a team. I mean, I feel like the midfield isn't as fluid as I'd like them to be. Verratti is definitely doing well, but I don't think they've found a perfect pairing for him.
Yeah.
But they're definitely getting there, man. They're getting there. I wish I could get them in the Champions League, but anyway, if it does happen,
that would be interesting. Messi facing his old club, and possibly chowing them.
No.
Obviously, I feel like the high chances.
There's high chances,
Well, I'm glad that I can still speak about Champions League. What's happening on Thursday, my man? Is it
Wow.
good playing with teams that
The
you can't even
pressure is
pronounce?
getting worse.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
comment.
Yeah, I'll just leave it like that.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, but to be honest, PSG is doing really well. I mean, I don't want to lie. The boys are doing really well. And also, Mia, if I had to pick, I'd most definitely pick Haaland. He's a much more efficient player. He understands the game. He's not too greedy when coming to touching the ball.
Yeah.
He can spend like a few moments without touching the ball, and he can be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
He only comes into play when it's totally necessary, and sometimes that helps because defenders might zone out,
Yeah.
and then he catches you sleeping and he destroys you right there and then, just like that. It's Chad. That's one of the reasons I like the guy. But this is not to disrespect Mbappe. The boy is still fucking good.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good player.
He's a very, very, very good player. Us onside trio this week, and you'll catch us whenever we come back. We promise we won't take too long this time. Peace out.